Ready for the video?
I am.
Let's do it.
I was literally asking this question last night. Like, no joke.
Nobody.
There we go. Let's find out.
Because of a disability.
I think I know where he's going with this, and I like it.
Me too. You agree with that?
You're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
use of it,
Yeah, oh,
obviously.
yeah.
That's why you're making a case out of it.
Like, I mean, you hear that and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then to like actually be able to get that inside, no matter how go-getter his attitude was, getting up was just too much, or being happy was too much.
Present practice. Was conscious. This is Vish and
Kat.
and today we'll respond to Sadhguru's video on
Why misery?
My name is Vish and I'm an aspiring yogi, love all things wisdom, meditation, yoga based. Super grateful to have Kat here on the show. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm a model in the Texas area. I've been doing that for, I think, 6 years now. I love it as an artistic experience and expression. I also enjoy doing a lot of other artistic things.
Well, thanks for being here, Kat. And I'm curious, what does misery mean to you? Before we get into the video.
Dude, how do I answer that? I'm gonna have to think about that long and hard before I have any sort of concise answer.
Well, that itself I think is a great answer. But with that,
Let's get into the video.
A person is miserable because of some disability from his birth itself, or he is miserable due to some disease which has happened not because of his doings. According to you, such
interesting
miserable
question so
people
far.
should leave the society, or others live in happy.
interesting, right?
How it is possible? How to deal with such miserable people by the society?
Now,
I was literally asking this question last night. Like, no joke.
nobody
There we
is
go, let's find
miserable
out.
because of a disability.
Huh.
Suppose you had only one hand. One hand less, wouldn't you make you miserable? It is just that everybody else has two hands. You have only one. That makes you miserable.
Great perspective.
One hand less, does it cause misery? Does it cause misery? I'll come to you, I know what you're saying. One hand less or one eye less wouldn't cause misery. What causes misery is everybody else has two, I have only one. That causes misery, isn't it? So,
I think I know where he's going with this, and I like it.
a
Me too.
disease or a disability fundamentally does not cause misery. It creates a certain physical situation. Misery is caused by you, only by you, nobody else but you. Misery is always self-created. Situations are happening. Some situations the way you like it, some situations the way you don't like it, some situations the way you can handle it, some situations the way you cannot handle it. This is how life is happening. But misery is caused by you, isn't it so? A mentally retarded person never suffers. It is other people's attitude towards him which makes him suffer.
Wow.
By himself, he doesn't suffer. Actually, he is more joyful than most other people. Or
Wow.
he just doesn't know what's happening. He just doesn't know what is happening, or generally he is much more happier than other people, isn't it? But it is your attitude towards him, you constantly reminding him that he is not normal, which makes him unhappy, which makes him miserable. It is you depriving him of many things that a human being needs because of his disability, which makes him miserable. So misery is not caused by any situation. Situations are there. Some situations we can handle, some situations we cannot handle. That's how life is. So every situation that you cannot handle, if you want to make yourself miserable, you have lot of opportunity every day.
You agree with that?
And you're making use of it,
Oh,
obviously. That's why you're making a case out of it. Why should miserable people go to caves? It will be good. Now, disabled people need not go to caves because they are not miserable by themselves. Because they have no idea of what is what. All of you are creating an opinion that you are not okay, you are not okay, you are not okay. That may make him miserable. If you just see, some people come with 2 hands, some people come with 1 hand, some people will come with this bigger brain, some people come with this bigger brain. It is all a part of nature and it is there. What best we can do with them, we do. There would be no misery in disability, isn't it? Isn't it so? If you allowed your humanity to function rather than your prejudice to function, then there would be no misery in disability. So, misery is not because of disability. Misery is caused by you because you're unconscious of what you're doing. Because the basic faculties in you, your mind and body is not in your control. That's why you're causing misery. Please look at your life and see. 4 limbs are intact for you, everything is right for you, but still, how many moments in 24 hours are you truly joyful? Very few,
Great
isn't it?
question.
If at all, if you are.
Lots of
That's an
that.
unfortunate way to live, that's all I'm telling you.
So Kat, misery, what's your take now after watching this video?
I do like what he had to say. And I do agree with it. I mean, it's not easy. Like, I mean, you hear that and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then to like actually be able to get that inside you and like truly believe it is so hard.
Would you say that you would have to believe in it or try to work on experiencing it?
I guess I think that's what I mean by believe it, because I think when you truly believe something, you live it, so you therefore experience it. Where like you can believe something's true in your head, but then not live your life according to that truth, and so you don't really believe it.
I want to quickly make a pin, if you don't mind, on that word, because I just want to break it down a bit more and just see what you have to say. So let's focus on that believe word or belief word, and we're going to definitely get back into the topic itself. But let me ask you this: do you believe in that you have 2 hands, or do you experience that you have 2 hands?
I experience it, therefore I believe it. So
Would you say that belief is something that you know for sure, or you think you know? Or it's like an assumption versus, I guess let me ask you this, what's the difference between you knowing something and you believing in something?
that's a good question. I think I go back and forth.
What if I were to say that, going back to the hand example, we know we have 2 hands
Yeah.
through our experience, but we don't have to believe that we have 2 hands. For example, let's say I just met you for the first time. I could believe that you are a good person, but I don't know you're a good person because I haven't talked to you or,
Right.
let's say, got to know you. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah, I do, yeah. So I guess belief is something that you don't know.
Yes.
But normally we believe things that tend to match with our experiences. So on some level, we can experience parts of what we believe, but it's something that's usually like unprovable, I guess. So, yeah.
I think you nail it there, and I appreciate you helping me kind of just dive into this part of the word. And I think it's significant back to what we were talking about before.
Oh, yeah.
What you say and how you say certain things matters. I just want to make sure we're all conscious of what we're saying.
Yeah, we say things without thinking all the time. And then when someone stops you and goes, what do you mean by that? You go,
Exactly. So there we go. That's perfectly said. And tying that into the misery, I think you're really right there. Like, I think it's definitely, even when I hear it, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And like, yeah, I think that would, at least at the intellectual level or the mind level, be like, yeah, perfectly well said. But I think it is a bit tougher to experience, right? Because let's just say you do have, I'm making this up, but let's just say you do have no legs and only 1 arm and 1 eye and half a nose and half a lip, whatever, right? Yeah, I think, and then everyone around you having all those things, like the full form of it,
feels unfair.
it feels unfair.
Yeah.
But I think the key that he was trying to make, which I really loved, was it's all relative, right? So now imagine, let's say we all had the half legs or half whatever lips, and
Right.
would we feel as
Miserable. No, yeah, it would just be the normal. Yeah.
I think the key there is just, really to focus on the relativity aspect of this and the perspective aspect of life. And I think to really realize it is your own making, this misery. Mm-hmm. What did you think of that and how this all connects?
I think that absolutely is true. The hardest thing for me in misery is when it comes to things involving pain. So when people who experience pain on a daily basis, like
what kind of pain? Physical, mental, emotional?
Physical, yeah, like physical pain, whether it's because of their disability or because they're going through cancer or something like that, like excruciating pain every day for years and years just wears the body down. And so it's very hard to have that kind of mindset to be like, this is my lot, this is my life, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to enjoy my life, because that is your choice. That is a choice that you can make. But like, that's so hard to do. Like, I totally understand why that's so hard to do, because pain gets into our minds. Like, pain is such a hard thing to fight. And like, I say all this because like, this makes me think of my husband. He battled cancer for 3 years, and he sort of had that mindset where like, yeah, it sucked, and yeah, he wished he didn't have cancer, but he's like, but I do. I'm still gonna enjoy life as much as I can. He knew that he didn't have much time to live, so he wasn't gonna spend time being miserable about it. He was gonna try to do everything that he could. But it was still hard because like, it was an extremely painful kind of cancer. And there were days when like, no matter how go-getter his attitude was, getting up was just too much, or being happy was too much. And so, man, misery is hard. Misery is so hard. And I do like, I loved his attitude, and I wish that I could have that attitude. I think it's hard, like as me, because it seemed so unfair. And getting around that unfairness is hard, like even for somebody who does have the privilege of not having that pain or that disability, because we feel like, oh, this is unfair for you. We have to make, something's wrong. And so then we freak out and we get miserable, and instead of just accepting that things are what they are, because that's really hard to accept.
Well, Kat, thank you so much again. I really want to just shout out and appreciate your transparency here and just being so open and kind with the experiences that you've had. And I think it's just a testament to the strength that you have from these experiences. And I think it's I've always said this before in many other videos, I really do value the power of transparency. So thank you, Kat, for sharing that. And I would definitely agree. I think it's easier to say it than to do it or to experience it. I will say, though, I think it's better than the fighting of it, right? Maybe again, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy by no means, right?
Right, no, but it is the better thing to do.
Right, versus like...
either you do that or you just be miserable. So
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think you nailed it right there, and I would love to hear what you all think about what we're sharing in terms of our experiences, our insight into this video. I mean, misery is a tough thing. Is this something, I guess the question here for you all watching right now is, how do you overcome misery in your life? And yeah, just share your stories about that. Let us know in the comments down below. And Kat, I just want to thank you so much again for being here. Really grateful for your presence and energy, and I want to let the viewers know where they can find you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I love doing this. It's very enlightening. So you can follow my modeling page if you want to. It's on Instagram. It's ewyn.modeling, I think, but it'll be linked down below.
Down below.
But yeah, that's where I like to share some of my favorite artistic photos that I've captured over the years. And I'm hoping that I can get more, like a website going or something like that where I can share more, but that's in the works.
Yeah, show her some love. All of her stuff will be down below. If you have any other video reaction requests, topic requests, or even just guests that you want to see on the show, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day, take this joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome job, Kate. You did great.
Thank you.
Awesome.